Hey guys, I'm back. I guess this is a part two. I I thought I paused my video and I actually stopped it. So I couldn't continue on that first video. So this is a part two. Anyway, so the last thing I was saying was this mom was telling me that she had got hit with truancy last year for her son because he missed so much school. And she said how his immune system is very compromised. And this is the one boy I was mentioning to you guys earlier that he's undiagnosed, so they don't know exactly what he has. So again, she's doing what's right because, Father forbid, something happens and he gets deathly sick at school. Then it'd be like, why'd you send him to school? Like those are things as a special needs parents we have to think about. If you have a child that their immune system can be compromised so easily, and sicknesses are going around, and you know that if your kid catches the common cold, that it could land them in the PICU, it's best to have your kid at home. Now, the best thing to do would see if you can get your child to be get home-based education. To get home-based education, which means their doctor signs off allowing them to get schooled from home, and it will be through their public school system. So a teacher would come, therapy and all that will come there. Now, this story is kind of bouncing back and forth, so I'm going to be dealing with what's currently happening and also my experience. We tried to do that with my oldest son in 2013. We tried to talk to his pediatrician and say, give him our reasons of why we did not want him in public school and why we felt home-based education would be best for him. And I just lost some sunlight. The clouds just went over the sun. So he felt that our reasons were not valid enough. And he felt, well, he needs the socialization. And that was not a valid answer for my husband and I. And as his parents, we did what was best. And it's been since 2013 that he has not been in public school. He has not been sick. He's thriving for himself. Like he's happy. He is a teenager, so he's definitely, puberty and stuff like that. And he has his times where he doesn't want to be bothered, but we can assess that, and please get that off of you. Oh, thank you. We can assess that. So, and he still gets socialized here at home. So, if you have a doctor that is willing, if you have a child that if they catch the slightest cold or something, that it can really be detrimental to their health and they're in public school, if you can get your doctor to sign off on home-based education, do it. If you can't, look into homeschooling them. But like I said, I don't think and I don't feel that our kids should be, that parents of special needs children should be penalized for keeping their kids home if it compromises their health. So that's that. I thought I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember. So the next thing I wanted to mention is there was this documentary I watched a long time ago on YouTube, and when I watched it, I was torn. I was torn because in some ways I could see and understand why these parents did it, made this decision, and then in some other ways I couldn't. And as a special needs parent, we have to make decisions for our kids that are not always the easiest. You may have people on the outside that don't understand why you made that decision, but these decisions aren't easy. Excuse me, guys.
Okay.
Little is in here with me. So the name of this video is Should Parents Be Allowed to Stop Their Children from Growing? And the channel that had this documentary up was the Journeyman Picture. So if you guys have a chance, I would suggest checking it out. It was like a 22-minute documentary. But there were some parents that chose in this documentary to, I can't remember if it was hormonally block. I think it was like I think it was hormonally block their special needs children from growing and going into puberty. And there was this one person that was a special needs advocate in the video, and I'm going off of memory because I watched this documentary like a couple of years ago. But there was a special needs advocate in the video, and she was in a wheelchair, I can remember, and she felt that she was not for parents making that choice to block their children from going through puberty. She did not agree with that, and this is what her reasoning. She felt it was robbing the kids of possible potential chances for growth and development, and if they were able to have kids and stuff like that. And some of these parents were saying, real life moment right here, guys. You do it again, you're gonna leave out the room. Sit. Thank you. So, what was it? So, one of the moms was saying she had a daughter. She was saying, the current state that her daughter was in, she was like, she's never gonna mature. She's always gonna be at this. I can't remember what age they put the girl at, but she was. I mean, mentally she was young, and she was just saying, why go through that? She's not gonna have kids. She's not gonna be, aware of what's going on with her and certain things. So, the mom, she decided to block puberty for her daughter. Also, one of the things I realized when I was watching it, and I was just crying because it just, like I said, my emotions was just kind of up and down because it's like, why would you want to do that? And then on the other end, I kind of got it because Biggs is 16 years old. He's big. I mean, I have to use a Hoyer to lift him. Like, I can't. If an emergency happened, I would pick him up. But with him having that fusion in his back and he has the rods, it's just easier to use his Hoyer for me. My husband still lifts him when he needs to, but I'm primarily with him because my husband's at work, so I use the Hoyer. And I remember when he was little. I mean, I remember when he was little, and I could hold him. Like, I held him up until he was 8 years old. 8 years old, because then I got pregnant with Little, and even early in my pregnancy, I was still holding Biggs on my lap. I wanted to hold him as much as I could. When your child is in a wheelchair, people don't realize how much of it can be like an emotional barrier sometimes between you and your child, because you got to go around the chair and all of this and the other. So, some of these people's reasonings, please wait. Some of these people's reasonings to block their child's puberty was they knew they were going to get bigger. They knew they were going to get heavier. And they were saying, I want to try to keep this child at home with me for as long as I can. And it would be easy on me as the caregiver for them to kind of stay the size that they are, and not have that growth spurt that puberty brings. And like I understood that because I thought about when Biggs was little, and I'm like, it was so easy. Just pick him up and go. Get him dressed and go. There's days where I go to get him dressed. I mean, it's easier now since he's had the spine surgery because it loosened up his upper body because he used to be so tight to where trying to get a shirt on him was so difficult. I mean, I would break a sweat. But since he's had that back surgery, it really broke up that tightness. So his arms are more relaxed. So it's easier to get him on, but he still has those really bad contractures. I think I'm saying it right. His wrist, no, his wrists go in really bad because of his cerebral palsy. So just trying to get a long sleeve shirt over that part can be difficult sometimes. But I thought about that and I'm like, I get that from a caregiver perspective. It makes things easier. Would me and my husband, if that was an option for us, would we have done that for our son? I don't think so. And then there's a part of me that say, I don't know. So I watched that video, and like I said, I was up and down. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this, but then I understand. And those are just things that we have to think about. And like I said, sometimes you just have people on the outside, they don't get it. Sometimes they think, well, it's an easy decision, you should just do this. But there's a lot of things that weigh on our minds and on our hearts with our special needs children. And sometimes you feel like you take care of their disability more than you do them as a person. And I heard you. Go drink some water. In a little bit, go drink some water because you haven't drank much. And I got to that point months ago after Biggs came home from his spine surgery because it was so much. The table went down a little bit. Sorry. It was so much. He came home with a double PICC line. We had a nurse coming to the house every 2 days every 4 days to flush his PICC line, to draw blood because he was still on an antibiotic. He got the antibiotic every 8 hours. So my husband and I were doing that. Keeping an eye on that incision, making sure that part was healing, all of that. Like, it was so much to his recovery, and he's still in recovery. But it was so much to his initial, recovery that I felt like I was missing him. And I was explaining that to my husband, and he understood what I said, and he understood what I was saying. And so there's times as a special needs parent where you feel like that, depending on what's going on with your child, where you just feel like it's all this medical stuff related to their disability. And you just feel, sometimes you feel detached from them as a person. And I definitely want to encourage anybody that's feeling like that to acknowledge it. Acknowledge how you're feeling and deal with it. And take steps to get back to that relationship with the child as a person. And deal with the medical stuff when you have to. When it's time to do medicines, okay, it's time to do medicines, okay? I've given the medicines, the medicine is now done. Let me look at your nice, beautiful brown eyes. Oh, it's time for a tube feed. Okay, let me give a tube feed. Tube feed is in. Okay, you smiling. Look at you smiling. You are so awesome.
Well, it's not smiling right now.
Well, no, he's not smiling right now. I'm talking.
Oh.
I'm giving an example.
Oh,
okay. So, that's really it, guys. Yes. That's it, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. This personal pause was kind of weird this week, but we got through it. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.